But while I was fishing, I could hear like this groaning sound. It was like a, you know, that sort of noise. I kept looking around. It's the tip. Sort of bent down, nodded a couple of times, and I think I was a lucky boy that day. Welcome to another Fishing Towel Films, and I must admit it's great to be out. This is actually my first trip out of 2025. January didn't go to plans, unfortunately. Started the year off with rivers in flood, and then we had a real cold snap, and a lot of the lakes that I wanted to fish, especially for my perch sessions, were iced over. And then just as the thaw was coming along, I started getting excited. Right, I'm going to start my perch campaign off for the winter. Come down with this nasty bug that's been going around, and I know a lot of you that are probably watching this have maybe have already got it or have had it, and it just couldn't shift it. It knocked me sort of flat off my back for quite some time, coughing, and you know how it goes, and couldn't speak 2 words without having a coughing fit. It was not nice, but anyway, we're sort of, what's it, 13th of February today, so I'm actually feeling human again, which is good. And again, we've had more rain, so the rivers have been going up and down, and I thought I'd take this opportunity, because the river season finishes in about just over 3 weeks time. I'll come back down to the river today before I start my perch sessions, and while I've got the opportunity, because next week the weather's so changeable, when I'm looking around, when I had to walk down to this swim, the ground is absolutely sodden, so the river, because I was keeping a check on the levels as I always do, and the river was right up over the banks into the fields, and it was a right hard slog. It was like treading in deep sand just to get it. It's a long walk to this swim, and I noticed that a few swims that used to be swims are no longer swims, because the earth has the banks have just crumbled away. So that's not good. And because a lot of the swims are like that, they just looked just that little lift there. on the tip. Just like a mudslide, and I don't want to be chancing sort of fishing any of them swims, because you get going to a slide and you're going to be straight in the river, which is not what you want on a cold February morning. So I've come down to my favourite swim. It's a very deep swim. The river sort of, because it's deep, it's sort of, the pace drops away, and I've decided to come down with my tip rod, maggot feeder. Got 3 red maggots on at the moment. I'll go into the setup a little bit later, and basically just to get back out again. Like I say, it's my first session for 2025. Start filming again. I'm way behind on what I wanted to produce, so I apologise for that, and hopefully I'm going to be able to make up with a few more perch sessions and some fishing towel film videos before spring arrives anyway. And it's funny, every time you make plans, something comes along to quash it, which is really annoying. And but hopefully now can carry on as I want to do, and start making some perch videos, because I can't wait. I really can't. Got some nice glugs and attractants to try out. I've just recently acquired, called Unfair Baits. Greg contacted me through Instagram, and we had a little chat, and I really like them. I really like the glugs that Greg kindly sent to me, and I love the smell of them, and I think that they're gonna give me a little edge on my perch fishing, in the hope of catching that real big specimen that I'm seeking for. You know, when I say I'm looking at something over 4 pounds, so we shall see. But that's all coming up in the pipeline. And but today's all about just chilling out, getting back out, my first session for 2025. If I'm not going to get bites on maggots, then I'm probably not going to get bites on anything else. So I thought I'd just come down. I've got a pint of red and white mixed, and going to go from there, see what I get. Just fishing for bites. I know there's chub in this swim. I did have a chub or 2 out of this swim earlier in the year on maggots, and you never know, anything can come along. It could be a nice bream. There's some cracking roach in here as well, so you never know. It's going to be one of them, cast, continue casting, get a bit of feed out there. I'm just going to feed through the maggot feeder that I'm using, one of the little Drennan feeder bombs, and see how we get on. Fingers crossed. As you can see, right in the middle of the swim, round about there, it's kind of just sort of going round and round in a circle. The current, it's like a big eddy, and that's where I'm sort of casting. So I'm casting round about there, and it's a good sort of 12 to 13 foot deep there, and I'm just casting, regular casting every sort of 10 minutes at the moment, just to get a bit of feed down there, a few maggots, and hopefully some fish will come along, get their heads down, and round about there, and pick up my triple red maggot surprise. You never know, do you? Truth be told, I don't know, this river's been tough to me this year, it really has. It owes me one. Well, it don't owe me anything really, but I kind of feel it owes me one, and it would be nice to, you know, go back to the days where I used to get sort of 4 or 5 chub in a session out, and it sort of, that was probably about 4 years ago, maybe 5 years ago. And as our sort of very wet winters seem to be more common, especially the last, you know, sort of 3-4 seasons, it's quite noticeable for me anyway. My chub fishing on this stretch has kind of dwindled away. I think the fish probably don't know what the hell's going on, you know, the rivers up and down, and that's even through the summer months as well. So it's kind of a bit annoying, very frustrating, because the water levels are changing all the time, and it certainly affected the roach fish, and I know that's for sure. But you never know, next year, next season, it might all swing back round in the angler's favour. Well, I'm using one of the Drennan run rig kits, and I like using these basically for their anti-tangle properties, and it's real, as you can see, it's free running. So I've got a Drennan feeder bomb, one of the small ones on there, and cap just comes off like so, and you just load it with maggots, cap goes back on, that slides up and down. There's a little buffer bead there that stops it sliding all the way down to the hook. They've got an anti-tangle sleeve there, and I'm using the Drennan Supplix. Today I'm using £3, I think it's 3.3, and I've got tied on there is a microbarb size 8. It's one of the Corum all-rounder ones, a nice specialist hook, and there you go, 3 red maggots on there, so any fish coming along, especially a chub, bream, gobble that up. Maybe even a perch as well. I've had perch out to swim, nothing massive so far. So there you go, really simple Drennan run ring kit, and you get four of these kits. I think they're about £3.60, you know, which is quite good value. You get 4 kits, 2 greens, 2 like sort of weedy green colour, and then 2 a very light brown colour as well. And it's a very simple setup. If you want to change the feeder to a bigger size, you just pull the sleeve back, unhook it, and then slip a different way. You can even put a bomb on, whatever you want, a little ledger link. And then the same there with a hook. If you want to change your hook to nylon, you just pull the sleeve down there, that comes down nice, and just a little tug, that pulls off, there you go. And then you've got like a quick change swivel where you just hook on another hook length, slide it back on, bead then pushes back into the top of the swivel like so, slide that down, give it a little bit of a pull, and away you go. It's as simple as that. I probably made that look a little bit cack-handed there because I'm holding the the camera in between my knees there. I'm trying to do a balancing act. I'm just going to load up some more maggots. I've got a little bit of ground bait with me that I might knock up a bit later, so I can plug a bit if I feel that I want to add a little bit of scent into the swim, and obviously keep the maggots in there. Right, let's cast that back out. Well, it's coming up to around about 10 o'clock in the morning, and still not had any bites as yet. And bearing in mind I'm fishing with maggots, so just kind of to show you how hard it is at the minute. And it's funny, when I look back over all the years that I've fished, and it's many years, I would say February. I've not suffered many blanks over the years, but February I would say is probably the more, in my fishing experience anyway, the most consistent month, where if I'm going to suffer a blank, it will be in the month of February. And when I look back at some of the trips I've had, and I'm going back a long way, they were around February. But that's not to say that all of my February trips have been poor, because I've had some absolute brilliant sessions in the month of February. I suppose the water temperature, the air temperature can be a little bit up and down, and that makes all the difference really. But today feels like it's going to be just a bite out of the blue, which is often the case, especially on this stretch of the river this season. Especially if you're targeting a certain species, you might, just when you think it's not going to happen, and it's very early days, like I say, it's only 10 o'clock, not even 10 o'clock, and maybe midday, early afternoon could possibly happen, or before that. You don't know. All you can do is just keep the feed going in, little and often, keep exploring around the swim, which is easy to do with a little bomb, feeder bomb. I can just flick it about and hopefully find one or two nice fish that I can show for the camera. And also it'll be my first fish of this year, 2025. I've not even been pestered by gudgeon, so it shows you how rock hard it is at the moment. I suppose, like with the water temperatures and the levels rising and dropping and then rising and dropping. When you look at the water levels on the government sites, especially for this area, it's been like a roller coaster. And I suppose it's not going to really do the fishing that good, because it's like moving the fish about all the time. You want spells where it's settled and the fish can settle in certain areas. But when the water's up and pushing through, I mean, even when this is at its normal levels, it's a very narrow stretch of the river, and it does push through fast anyway, and that's even in the summer months, so it's quite a fast moving river. So you imagine with an influx of water, extra water, another 1.5 meters of water, which is what we've been having, it will push the fish about and move them about quite a lot. And it's just a case of, you would have thought maybe in a deep swim like this there's maybe a hole up in here, and hopefully they have. And I just want that tip just to wang round and get a nice fish to break my duck, I guess, for 2025, after the very slow and frustrating start I've had to the year with regards to the fishing and also the filming for the channel. So we shall see. Long way to go yet, and I'm not giving up. It's just lovely to be out, I must admit. Sitting there indoors feeling a bit sorry for yourself. your nose streaming, you're coughing and you're blowing your nose all the time, and you just, all you want to do is just be out fishing. And today I am. Well, about 20 minutes ago I was getting a little bit excited. The yan was poised in the strike position because the tip sort of bent down, nodded a couple of times, and then just as I thought it was going to go straight over, that was it. So whether a fish had just brushed through the line, maybe a couple of fish, trying to imagine what was going on down there, or maybe a fish has just nudged the feeder, obviously mopping up some of the maggots, but it was definitely felt like a fish was down there. A couple of little nods, and then just as I thought it was going to continue, the hand was poised, boom, that was it. So bit of an anti-climax in the end there, but yeah, it's the first sign that there is something down there, or something moving in and out of the swim. So I've been casting back out again, feeding through the maggot feeder, in the hope of just getting a bit more feed down there, and hopefully it will produce that bite I'm waiting for. But positive signs. It's feeling a little bit colder now. I think the temperature's supposed to be 2-3 degrees all day today. There's a slight breeze picked up. You can feel it on the face, and that's probably making it feel a little bit colder than what it is. You know, every time I move around the swim, I'm just getting stuck in mud. It's so muddy with all that rain we've had and the river coming over the top. Everything is perfect apart from just getting that proper bite and netting a fish to show to the camera. So relaxing, chilled out. It's where I want to be. It's where I love to be. Just fishing away. Peaceful, birds chirping away in the distance, and what more could you want apart from a bite and a fish? But that may still come. Well, another hour has gone whizzing past, and apart from that little indication, that little nodding that I had on the tip about an hour ago now, nothing more to report. And it's funny, while you're sitting there fishing, it's just me on my own, and you kind of get lost up in your thoughts, and I know it's frustrating willing that tip to go out to move, and you kind of know that the odds are stacked a little bit against you because of the conditions, but I knew that before I decided to come here today. But you know, and it's like I say, it's still early days. Yeah, you start thinking about sort of past trips and stuff like that, and the way that what I noticed about walking to the swim was that because the river's been up and down for a long while now in water level, because of the rains we've had, a lot of the bank has fallen away into the river, which is not great. And it got me thinking something that's quite a scary thing that happened to me back in, I guess it would have been the 80s, and I used to go over to Ireland a lot and fish, and went with a couple of mates, John and Frankie, and I can't actually remember where we went because we were moving around quite a bit. It was fishing quite hard. It had a lot of rain over there, and a couple of places that we'd fish would get the odd bream, which is what we were going over there for, and that was it. As soon as like the sun came out, it just killed it because the waters were gin clear. So we were moving around, and I remember we went to this place where there was a fast flowing and very deep river section that then further down moved out into a lake. It's sort of like, and they went down and fished the lake bit because you could see there was some big old pike attacking. I think the bream looked like they were getting ready to spawn, and the pike were just, you know, it was amazing to see it. They were like just sort of just looking at the tip. The tip just nodded again then. So I paused there because I thought something was going to happen. And anyway, they went up there and fished it, and I walked back after watching these pike just chasing all these skimmers about and bream about. And I was fishing on I managed to find a little plateau, and it was bombing through, and I was fishing like something like a 12 gram big old pole float, and I was fishing the pole, running it through, trying to hold it back, and I was picking up the odd small roach. But while I was fishing, I could hear like this groaning sound. It was like a, you know, that sort of noise. I kept looking around, thinking, what the hell's that? There was just bare bank and everything like that. And this was going on all the time that I was sitting here, and about every sort of 20 minutes, you'd hear this groaning sound. And I think, I ain't got a clue what it is. I sort of got up, looked about, and to see if there was any trees about that were maybe, you know, going to come down. There was no trees around me at all. So anyway, after about 4 hours I'd been fishing on this swim, the lads come down and said, oh, they've had no joy, we're gonna go back to the digs, you know. I said, yeah, fair enough. I'm not really doing a lot myself, just picking up the odd small roach type of thing, the odd little skimmer. And so I started packing up, and I had like, I think it was an old like, I don't know if it was the wicker basket I had in it, might have been, or an old FGECO box that I had. And because we drove there, and so we took all our gear with us, and 3 of us in an estate car. We took turns sort of driving and whatever. Anyway, so I'm packing up, and I could hear this groaning sound again. And I'd got most of my gear up behind me, and I just turned around. I had me rod rest. I was using a rod rest or pole roller thing to help support the pole, and I was just gobsmacked because the whole bit of the bank that I was sitting on, and I'd been there for 4 hours, just came away. I just see me pole roller rod rest just disappear. And a whole of the bank went straight into the river. Everything, the whole lot. And obviously that groaning noise was like the bank underneath me. It was coming away. Now I dread to think what would have happened if I'd still been sitting. I would have gone in for a start. Would I have got out? I don't know. It was really pushing through. And it was extremely deep as well, and I'll come out in cold sweats when I think about it. I was just gobsmacked when the lads come down, and I told them, they just couldn't believe it. They said, what you were fishing down there? I said, yeah. I said, but it was just like all that was left was just sheer bank, and that groaning noise was the bank. Maybe it was someone telling me, get off, because, you know, something's going to happen. Incredible, and of course it's something that I would never ever forget, and maybe the fishing gods were with me that day, that's for sure. But yeah, just shows you anything's possible, and I think I was a lucky boy that day. Well, sadly it looks like it's not going to happen today. You know, in the back of my mind I did fear that maybe this possibly could happen. It's the way that fishing goes sometimes, but like I said at the start of this video, I'm pleased just to be out fishing. That tip, apart from a couple of little nods, has done virtually nothing at all. And if you're not getting bites on maggots, then you know you're in for a bit of a struggle. And it's a shame because it's overcast, bit of a colour to the water, which is ideal, but the fact that the rivers have been up and down, as I was explaining earlier, it just doesn't really do the quality of fishing any good at all. And it could be that there's just nothing down there at all, sadly. So I'm going to put a line through, I think, my river season until it kicks back up again in June, and I'm going to be out perch fishing now to make up for all that lost time that I lost back last month in January. And so if you've enjoyed the video, please give it a like. I know there's not been any fish action, but that's still to come on future videos. I'll see you again soon, and thanks for watching Fishing Tail Films.